Thanks for joining us for today's super duper fun episode of The Capitalist Investor. As always, you got Mark and D.
Mark, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Dude, I'm good because it's a fun episode we got in store for today.
Yeah, I like it a lot, actually.
Let's talk the Cleveland Browns a little bit.
Yeah.
And then relate the players on the Browns to some different stock categories.
I put my actual thinking cap on for this one.
This is good. you got ideas, bro.
Yeah.
This is good stuff. So, just to kind of back up, we're recording this on, what is today, the 18th?
Yep.
All right, so Wednesday the 18th. As of now, the Cleveland Browns are 6-3.
Right.
I don't know if that's ever happened. I mean, at least not since 1999 when they came back. Do you know if they were 6-3 at all since the franchise came back?
I don't know that. I know if they can go 8-8, it'll be their first non-losing season since I want to say like 2000 and
Had to be 2007. I think
Yeah,
we were 9-7 that
yeah,
year.
mhm.
That was a fun year.
yeah,
Derek Anderson
right. And Braylon Edwards, right?
and Kellen Winslow. I think
Yep.
he's in prison.
He is.
So, look, in Cleveland, what a weird city we have, first of all.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about a little bit.
Dude, it was 77 degrees a week ago, and it snowed yesterday. That's just
Crazy.
weird. And now it's sunny today. It's probably going to be 60 this weekend.
Yep.
It's weird.
And I'm in the snow belt too, so it was like full on winter at my house the last 2 days.
Yeah, man. Well, and then the last two Browns games
Yep.
separated by a bye. We're both here in Cleveland. 50-mile-per-hour winds
Like legit.
and a hailstorm.
Yeah, in a hailstorm.
Weird.
We were just talking. It was beautiful all week. The Browns game was about to kick off, and about 10 minutes before that happened, this storm came through like honestly like nothing I've ever seen before. It was the wind was so intense, and it was raining and hailing at the same time. So my entire lawn was covered in ice pellets.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. It was ugly.
And then 30 minutes later, it was sunny again.
Yeah, and then it got dark again. Strange place we live. So as you can imagine, all we have are our sports.
Yep.
That's all we have. And the Indians, we're going to lose Lindor,
Yeah, no doubt.
right? Our superstar franchise player, he's gone because we never pay anybody. So, I think the window of opportunity for the Indians is in the process of passing us by or closing.
I'm afraid so. Yeah, they're not going to pay anyone anything. I think they're pretty much out of money.
Yeah, the Cavs won a championship in 2016. They are headed towards never winning one ever again right now with the roster they've been accumulating.
Yeah, the rebuild has not gone so well.
No, you can't draft 2 point guards back to back.
Yep.
That's not good.
No.
So we got the Browns,
Right.
Because at least there's a salary cap and we have a fighting chance, all right? So with the Browns being 6-3. I think it would be fun just to kind of go through and compare some of the players and coaches and stuff like that on the Browns to some different stock categories.
Right.
So let's go through these. We'll kind of go back and forth. Definitely the superstar of the team, Myles Garrett.
Right.
Right. I mean, the guy's leading the league in sacks. I would label him the outperformer. I mean, the guy's just he's the best in the league.
Right.
Right. How would you label Myles Garrett?
Yeah. Miles Garrett or the category? Just Miles Garrett, the
Either
player?
no, because it's got to relate to the category.
Okay.
So
Absolutely the outperformer, and maybe even kind of like the steady outperformer. So something that is always going to be there.
yeah.
Because that's kind of what he is for the Browns.
Yeah.
If he's not out there, the defense is just going to be horrific.
Right. And obviously he was the number 1 overall draft pick, so he's not cheap.
Right.
He's expensive, even though it's on a rookie contract, right? I
Right.
mean, he is expensive, but you get what you pay for.
Right.
Right. So that kind of leads me into I'll give you a couple ideas of stocks I had. Or maybe I'll give you one, you give me one, and we'll see how long until we run out of ideas
Okay.
here. So I'm going to go with Amazon.
All right.
I mean, Amazon is the 800-pound gorilla as it relates to both e-commerce, but also the cloud.
Yep.
Lots of people will talk about how expensive it is. Actually, I really don't hear that much anymore.
No.
When people used to just look at PE ratios and they lived in a world of only looking at PE ratios, they used to talk about how expensive Amazon was. But it seems like people are a little smarter nowadays,
right?
And they understand it's not just PE ratios. Amazon actually trades on an EV to EBITDA multiple. Anyways, they don't trade on a PE multiple.
Right.
But that's too technical for us to get into in this show. So we're just going to go with when you price in how much you're paying per unit of growth you're getting, I think Amazon's dirt cheap.
Yep.
Right? I mean, they're projecting annual growth of 30-40% year after year after year. What's wrong with the company having a 70 PE ratio?
Right.
I don't even know where it's at, but there's nothing wrong with that when you take the PE ratio and you divide it by the growth. And that's kind of how I feel about Myles Garrett. Like, the dude's worth every penny.
Yep.
In fact, I think he's underpaid. Right?
Absolutely.
I mean, right now he's a beast, dude. Did you see him track down Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, I was going to mention that play.
Deshaun Watson is fast.
He is.
Myles Garrett was just as fast.
Yep. Deshaun Watson basically juked him, kind of faked him out at the beginning.
So he had to recover.
And he had to recover.
Yeah.
And he tracked him down.
Wow.
And that's just something you don't see from a lineman.
He's a beast.
And yeah, I think that's a great comparison there with Amazon.
Yep.
Because when is it going to end, right? Amazon, it's just going to keep going. There's not really an end in sight.
They'll just continue to disrupt industries.
Yep.
They've got Amazon Pharmacy coming out.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Bye-bye Walgreens, bye-bye CVS,
Yep.
right? I mean, whose lunch are they going to eat next?
Absolutely.
And Myles Garrett looks like he's got quite the appetite.
And we have a long history, exactly.
Yeah.
And we have a long history now of Amazon doing this, and they're just going to keep doing it. And there really is no end in sight. So, yeah, maybe a little expensive, but definitely worth the price.
No doubt, man.
So, I'll, because I got a couple, I moved some things around. I try to get some different names in here.
Yeah. Who do you got?
So one I put up here at the top is going to be Apple.
Okay.
Apple is just another company. When is that company going to slow down? Whenever they can't think of something, they just have piles of cash to buy something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is a name that's not going away. The brand that they have built is just so strong. My favorite part of the company is the ecosystem that they've built. People like myself, they're just going to be locked in for a very long time.
Yeah, yeah. Now, the interesting thing about Apple is they have not grown their earnings for the last few years, yet the stock has tripled or quadrupled.
Right.
Right? And that's really just because people are rethinking the company.
Right.
Right? It went from I sell an iPhone hardware company to being a consumer goods company.
Right. Because
everyone has to have their phone. Right? So, I mean, I believe it. But they're also doing a good job pivoting towards their services model and stuff like that as well.
For sure.
All right, moving on to our new head coach, who I'm very impressed with, by the way.
Absolutely.
Kevin Stefanski. Big difference between him and Freddie Kitchens last year. I hated the Kitchens hiring from day one.
Right.
He didn't have himself together. So how was he supposed to instill discipline to a bunch of young punks? Because I mean, the Browns were a very young team,
Right.
Right. I mean, we've been in a rebuild forever, right? So we're always, getting rid of the veteran players and trying to rebuild again. So you have to have some discipline. Stefanski's a young dude. He's in shape. And you don't hear about all these idiotic penalties this year that we were getting crushed with last year.
Yeah, absolutely. Control what you can control, man. That guy is the embodiment of that. Let's be honest too. He's a handsome man. I see all the girls on Twitter. They're going crazy for him.
He's definitely got that going for him, especially when you compare him to Freddie Kitchens.
Yeah,
I mean, that dude's a slob. So,
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about handsome stocks then.
All right.
We're going to go with Stefanski as the market leader or the handsome stock, however you want to label it here. So what I had here, I had Apple here, but since you already went with Apple, I'm going to go with Microsoft.
Okay.
All right, because Apple and Microsoft are, I believe, number 1 and number 2 as far as market weightings go in the S&P, or maybe Amazon's in there. They're 1, 2, and 3, the 3 of those companies. As goes those big tech companies, goes the entire stock market.
Right.
They carry the market. Mm-hmm. The top 5 companies in the S&P they make up like almost 25% of the S&P 500's cap weighting, right? So I'm going to go with Microsoft here, right? It's just a market leader, right? You would expect that if Microsoft's doing well, and obviously Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Google, like the big 5, when they're doing well, everyone else seems to do well. But Microsoft is a company, they're not going anywhere, man. I mean, they were a dinosaur years ago, right? When all they had was Microsoft Office and
Windows.
Microsoft Windows, right? And they've completely transformed themselves into the number 2 cloud company behind Amazon, but the number 1 hybrid cloud company, which works with those medium-sized businesses who already have their freaking in-house servers, right? And they don't want to throw them away, right? Essentially, and just 100% shift to the cloud, so they have the hybrid model. And a lot of people, I think us included, expect Microsoft to kind of overtake Amazon maybe within the next year or two as the number 1 cloud company. Right?
It's just it's a company that basically has every component that you could possibly want.
It's a handsome stock.
It's a handsome stock. It is just a fine looking stock there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go. Since I was the one who threw out Kevin Stefanski's handsome, I kind of took that in a different direction. So I'll get back on kind of the new hot stock.
He's hot now?
And it's going to be pretty much a stock that's gone the same trajectory with me that Kevin Stefanski has. So I'm going to go Penn National Gaming.
Ooh.
All right, and here's why.
That's sexy. That is sexy.
When it first came out, right, I really wasn't on board. Right?
Yeah.
When they first hired Stefanski, I wasn't really on board, honestly. I was like, he seems like he knows what he's doing, right? But he's only had basically not even a full season of play calling duties in Minnesota.
Yep.
That's going to be a pretty big jump from that to a head coach. Wasn't really on board. Same thing with Penn. Penn, when that partnership with Barstool was announced, I was like, yeah, that sounds great and everything, but the company, Penn, really wasn't so hot and in great financial shape.
Well, they were a bunch of regional casinos.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And with
those aren't
like
cool.
Horse racing tracks and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
we like to go to Vegas, dude. I'm not going to my regional casino. I'm going to Vegas, bro.
Yeah. It's like what's the place? Northfield Park. Remember?
Yeah.
We went there a couple times in college. It's a harness racing track, right?
That's not even as cool.
It's not fun.
That's not as cool.
I mean, I guess it's cool. You can place a few bets, but
harness racing's just not cool.
Not cool.
No.
But what I have witnessed, in the last year or so, the marketing power behind Barstool and the number of eyeballs that are on it, I think are really going to do great things for this company in the future. It's all about brand recognition. It's all about eyeballs on the product. And I've seen what they've done now in Pennsylvania. And basically everybody's got that app. They do really cool promotions. They're doing, videos and live shots. And once it's allowed to be in more states, I really think it's going to just continue to,
it will
to take off.
I want to say it's legalized in like 20 states right now.
Yeah.
We've talked about this in a prior show. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people are expecting 40 states by the end of 2021.
Yeah.
Right? And probably 50 states in no time. Right? I hope Ohio gets it soon.
Yeah, I thought they were supposed to do it this time around. But
both the House and the Senate passed their own bill that they both want to legalize it. But one side basically said the government's going to run it, and the other side said it's going to be privately operated.
Okay.
Right? So that's the difference.
Who's getting paid, basically?
Yeah, exactly. Right? It should be private business.
Yep.
All right, I like that. Penn National. Good call, dude. Very handsome stock. Very sexy. All right, on to, dare I say it, OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr. I don't know what you want to call this dude. The underachiever, the shiny new object that you kind of cancered up the chemistry.
Yeah.
The stock that'll blow up in your face. I don't know where. We can go 100 different directions with this. None of them are good.
No.
None of them are good. The guy has just been, as far as OBJ goes, a huge disappointment.
Right.
I used to be such a huge OBJ fan when he was on the Giants.
Absolutely.
I
was excited when they made the trade.
And he just looks like he's not he's obviously hurt now, but he just looked like he was not interested in being on the field.
Yeah.
Like if he wasn't getting the ball, he pouts.
It's very strange because he usually says all the right things, but then you kind of see his body language and stuff on the sidelines. It's like a different story.
Actions speak louder than words,
Yeah,
right?
mhm.
Yeah, but he's not even the last play for him of the season. The dude didn't even turn around and look for the ball
Right.
on that interception, and then I don't know who taught him to tackle. That was ugly.
Yep.
Ugly. All right. So where do you want to go with this? Shiny new object, underperformer, stock that'll blow up. What do you think?
So I went with the stock that'll blow up in your face,
All right, man. Let's hear it.
and it's largely personal with me, but I'm going to go with Beyond Meat.
Okay.
All right. And
That's a good one.
This is from a guy who enjoys smoking, barbecuing,
Yeah.
So making mean brisket, ribs, all that stuff. So I'm
So
a
you
big
hate
fan.
this Beyond Meat concept.
I really
you
do.
hate it.
I really do.
I hate it too.
I'm
man.
hoping for it to fail.
Yeah.
But it doesn't appear to be going that way.
No.
All right, but I've been trying to keep my picks to kind of the company than the actual stock and valuation.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go valuation on this one because it is priced right now where basically most of the country is going to need to switch to the fake meat to be able to make this work out.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
No.
Look, I've never tried it. I heard it doesn't taste that bad.
Right.
But I also heard it doesn't do well on your GI system either.
Right.
Your GI system doesn't tolerate it too well. The entire world, and when you look at the nutritional facts in
Yep.
their patties, they're no healthier.
No.
Like, I mean, even the fat content, the sodium, like, it's really no healthier. And D, you love smoking meat. I follow a paleo diet.
Right.
So, I eat meat, fish, veggies. Like, that's my thing, man. I'm not crushing pasta or anything like that, right? So I've read the books on the paleo diet. I know the science behind it, and I know that eating meat is not bad for you. I know that. I've read the science. Yes, it's high in fat, high in cholesterol, potentially, red meat. But as long as you are not eating it alongside carbs, it doesn't get stuck to your arteries. Right. So it's actually the carbs that are the bad thing, right? That's kind of the transportation that binds to. This is way too technical for this show. I'm just going to stop talking.
I'm learning something right now, I'll be honest with you. I did not know that.
I don't know. We just went down a tangent that I shouldn't be going down. But anyways, man, I like meat. I do not like Beyond Meat.
Yep. So I'm going Beyond Meat because I think if you're buying it at this point, there's a long way to chase down the valuation there.
All right. So I'm going to go different direction. I'm going to go with overrated or overvalued.
All right.
Okay. And I talked about this one recently. I think it was on CNBC. I'm not saying I hate the stock. I just think it's overvalued, and that's Disney.
Okay.
All right. So, I mean, the stock's trading at like $145 a share while we're recording this show. Last year, when they announced Disney Plus and the parks segment was in full gear, they were making money hand over fist. I want to say the stock zoomed from like $110 to $130 in a day after they announced Disney Plus. The fact that with the California parks shut down, okay?
Yep.
And Orlando running at a reduced capacity, for that stock to be trading above where it was at that point in time because investors think Disney Plus is going to carry the entire load, I think is just foolish. I cannot believe it's trading where it's at.
Yep.
Not a bad company. I love the company. I just, I wouldn't be a buyer here at $145.
Yeah, the valuation doesn't seem to make sense from everything that you just laid out for sure. My mom has a place in Orlando, and the overall talk of the town is that it's not really the capacity issues; it's that just no one wants to go down there, and just no one's traveling.
Really?
So, it's empty.
Yeah.
Which sounds nice. I know you've been to Disney.
Lots of times.
When it's crowded and hot, it's pretty miserable.
Yeah.
Especially with kids.
But I can only imagine that, even though it's not crowded, if you were down there, you're probably waiting in line just as long.
Right.
And I'm just speculating because I have no experience. I haven't talked to anyone who's been there, but sanitizing the rides and stuff, like even if the line's half as long or a third as long, I could imagine the waiting times are just as long, which that's what I hate about Disney, right? I don't like waiting in line anywhere.
Neither do I.
No. That's why we get bottle service in Vegas. Straight to the front of the line. All right, so I'm going with Disney. Next up, man, I want to hit on Jarvis Landry.
All right.
Like, the dude gets he doesn't get enough love.
Yep.
And he's just Mr. Consistency.
Yep.
He's going to get his 70, 80 catches, no doubt. He's going to get 1,000 yards. He doesn't complain, right? You don't see him moping on the sideline if Baker doesn't get him the ball enough. So what's your take on a consistent stock?
So this is one that is near and dear to my heart because I go there pretty much every week. Costco. So Mr. Consistency is going to be Costco for me. Whether it's before the pandemic, during the pandemic, after the pandemic, they just know how to market and to, get as much money as possible out of families like mine.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
They've been doing it for a long time. They continue to get better at it. They're beating and raising pretty much every single time. Costco is going to be my Mr. Consistency.
I like that one. So I'm going to stick with kind of the same theme. I was thinking Walmart or Target, but also McDonald's. Right, just stocks that just, no matter what, man, they perform.
Yeah, Costco or Target is a great one.
It is, man. Yeah. I mean, they have just completely, they've evolved, right? They've done whatever it takes. They're doing the curbside pickup now, same day orders, just doing a fantastic job, beefing up their e-commerce presence and all that stuff. So I think any of those are
for sure.
Would be Jarvis Landry.
Yep.
Moving on to our stud running backs, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Nick Chubb, the most selfless player in the NFL, had like a 60-yard touchdown ready, all ready for him, and he goes out of bounds at the 1-yard line. Vegas hates him. Vegas hates him. What was the line for?
I think it was 3.5.
Oh, God.
And they won by 3.
We won by 3. Whew. See, what I learned when I was betting on football in college is you can't bet on or against your own team.
Right.
So it doesn't affect me.
It never works out.
No. Doesn't affect me, but there's a lot of people that were probably not very happy about that.
Yep.
But in any event, these dudes, you can't win without them.
Right.
You have to have them on the team. Because they open up the passing game for Baker and all that good stuff, right? Yep. And plus they're good for 150 plus yards a game.
They're awesome.
I mean, they had like almost 250 this last game. Right?
It was nice to see everyone kind of getting back and healthy, and that lineman came back, Wyatt Teller.
Yeah.
And it was more of the same from the two of them. It was real good to see, and they're two great running backs.
Yep. All right. So, give me a workhorse stock, right? Or a can't do without, something that you got to have in your portfolio.
Well, I kind of I thought a lot about this, actually. I tried to come up with something creative. Probably fell a little short.
Yeah.
But
Story of my life.
But what I was really going for was, complementary stocks that you can't do without.
Yep.
So they didn't really complement each other, but I was thinking if I just had two, knowing everything that's going on in the landscape right now, what would my two picks be? And again, companies, not necessarily valuations.
Yep.
So I was going Microsoft, which we've already talked about, and Netflix.
Okay.
So between those two companies, basically everything that I could think of and the current trends that are important and hot right now, those two companies cover. So you got the at-home viewing, but even before Corona, Netflix and Amazon Video. If you just had those two, you pretty much don't even need cable anymore, other than live events. And everything we already talked about on Microsoft with the cloud, the hybrid cloud, hardware, software, reoccurring revenue, management team, just hits all the check marks. So I went with those two.
I like it. Like it a lot. All right, I'm going to go with two complementary stocks. You got Sherwin-Williams and Home Depot. We own both of them, right?
Yep.
Home Depot obviously has been on a tear. Sherwin has been on a tear too. Sherwin-Williams, obviously, it's the most cost-effective way to make over your home.
Right.
Throw some paint on the wall, change the color, right? They sell directly, and they also sell through retailers like Home Depot and Lowe's, right? Home Depot's been on fire because people are stuck at home. And if you're stuck at home, you want to make sure you like your home, right? So people have pulled forward years worth of vacation expenses to beef up their homes. So those to me are just two complementary stocks because Sherwin is actually sold through Home Depot, but also sold direct as well.
Right.
One that we didn't plan here, but we'd be remiss if we didn't hit on them is Baker Mayfield. Do you have Baker Mayfield in your notes?
I don't.
We whiffed on that one. You got to have Baker Mayfield. So let's do this for Baker Mayfield.
All right.
The love-hate relationship.
That's a good one, right?
Isn't
there.
that good?
You just come up with that?
Yeah, I did.
That was awesome.
Yeah, because I love the guy
Yeah.
like every other week, and I hate him the others.
Yeah, man, he is hard to figure out. Well, to be honest with you, I don't know if he's that hard to figure out anymore. If teams do a good job of scheming against him, he does really bad. If they don't, and he can kind of ride by the seat of his pants, then he's really pretty good.
He's got to get the run game working. He's got to, do the play action. When you look at his stats for this year, it's frustrating because the last two games for him were impossible games for him. 50-mile-per-hour winds, hailstorms.
Yep.
Like, dude, nobody is going to put up good numbers, right? I mean, you have to rely on the ground game, right? And that's coming off the best performance of his career, where he had 5 touchdowns the week before these last 2 games.
Right.
So, and it just so happened in that game, OBJ wasn't out there running amok.
Right.
And terrorizing the offense. So love-hate. Can you think of a stock that you have a love-hate relationship with?
Well, probably, I was going to say Tesla, but I've never really...
Dude, you got to go with Tesla. I like that. I do. I like it.
I don't really hate it, but I obviously love the company.
Yeah.
We've talked about this many times before.
Great product.
Awesome product. Really, with the updates that they do with the software and the video games and all that stuff. Awesome, right?
Yeah.
Really innovative company, too. They're just miles ahead, no pun intended, in the electric car game. All the other auto manufacturers are basically stopping trying to figure out how to do the internal combustion engine, and they're all their R&D is going electric.
Yep.
But then I kind of hate myself for not selling it because the valuation seems to be just not what
it's
it
egregious.
should be.
Yeah. Dude, it trades at 10 times EV to sales.
Right.
That's rich for a software company.
Right.
right? Dude, there's analysts out there that try and pretend like Tesla is a software company. Dude, it's a capital-intensive business. They
exactly.
maybe at some point that's all they are, is they're a software company, but they're not there yet. But I think that's a good love-hate stock. I had Tesla slotted for later in the show here, but we forgot Baker, so I think we got to go with Tesla. I love the product. I hate the valuation. I mean, it's now included in the or it's going to be included in the S&P. It's going to be the 8th or 9th, because it's still going up. 8th or 9th richest company in the index. It blows my mind, dude.
It's crazy.
And they actually don't make real money.
Right.
They lose money. The only way they're making money is selling zero-emission credits to the other automakers, because the other automakers don't have the EVs yet.
Right. Their next 3 to 5 years are going to be real important.
Yeah.
To transfer from where they are now to an actual volume-driven company.
Yep. All right. Bill Belichick, the stock that got away.
Right. I feel we should point out that the Browns did not fire Bill Belichick. The Baltimore football team that was not yet named fired Bill Belichick.
I feel better.
Just a public service announcement for those of you who are not listening in Cleveland, just to set the record straight.
Yeah. I'll tell you, when we had Bill Belichick here, nobody liked him.
No.
Because he was not friendly with the media, right? It reminds me of Freddie Kitchens last year. Mm-hmm. The dude was an awful coach. You had the media asking him reasonable questions about why are there so many penalties, and he was just angry about it.
Yep.
He didn't want to. Dude, you have no credibility. You have no experience, no resume. Answer the questions,
Right.
man. But obviously, Bill Belichick has won, what, like 7 Super Bowls? I don't even know.
A
6,
lot.
7, 8.
I think it's 6.
Yeah.
Well, 6 as a head coach, but then he's got at least one with the Giants, maybe 2.
It's unbelievable.
So yeah, a lot.
All right. What's a stock that got away from you?
This one's easy for me. Lululemon.
It's always out of reach, dude.
I don't know if you had that one too, but I can remember staring at the buy button basically. You probably towards the end of March, beginning of April.
Yeah, I tried to get it in our portfolios. Yeah. And as an investment team, I'm like, come on. We've wanted this company for so long. It's there. It's available. And, there was an overwhelming majority that said we can't buy something when all their stores are shut down, right?
Which seemed to make sense.
Yeah, it did. We make a lot of bad decisions along the way. Can't nail them all.
Exactly.
Can't nail them all, right? And more importantly, the stocks have to fit our investment strategy, right? So I'm going to run with Zoom here. I am ashamed that of what I said about Zoom in the past. So let me see where this thing's trading now. It's over $400. Where did it peaked at like above 550?
Yeah.
During like the pandemic, this thing shot up from below $100 to, I think it was trading between 120 and 140. And I had one particular client ask me about it, and I told her, do you really want to buy it now?
Right.
Like we own Microsoft. Microsoft has Teams. Zoom is clunky. Remember, people were getting Zoom bombed. Right. We still use Zoom, and there's issues with it. Zoom changes the rules all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to sit in a waiting room. Sometimes you can get in with a password. I never know even when I'm hosting the meeting, what the rules are going to be for that meeting.
Right.
They're learning on the fly.
For sure.
Whereas Microsoft, they got their act together, right? Yeah. But I was wrong. $150 to $450.
Right.
Peaked at like 560, 570. That's definitely one that got away. But again, that was our investment discipline.
Right.
We can't chase something. Are we going to miss companies like that, like Zoom? Are we going to miss companies like Lulu? Yeah, but there's also a lot of companies that we've completely crushed it on as well. Right? You can't win them all. All right. The Browns, you wanted to do Josh Gordon.
Yeah. So
that bum.
I tried to do a PG version of Josh Gordon. So stay-at-home stocks.
Yeah, because you're not allowed to play.
Because he was never allowed to play.
Just a full-blown degenerate.
How many times did he get suspended while he was on the Browns?
I think like 4.
Yeah, at least 4. I was going to say 4.
Out of the league again.
Yep.
I mean, he's just a complete bum. All right, what's a good stay-at-home stock?
So I like Peloton. Obviously, we've
All
talked
right.
about that.
I had that one too.
I was riding on there, and I got Stamps.com. I think both of them are set to perform well even after or during and after the pandemic.
Yeah, let me see what Peloton has done recently, because the trend lately, D, has been anti-stay-at-home stock. Right.
As the vaccine news comes out.
Yeah, and more about the reopen. So Peloton peaked at around 136. It's trading just over 100 right now. It would be lower than that if not for the Beyonce partnership.
Right.
So in a day when all of these stay-at-home stocks were getting slaughtered, Peloton was up because they happened to make the Beyonce announcement that day.
Right.
Do you have a Peloton bike?
I do.
All right, we have one too. It's addictive.
It is.
My workouts, I've never really enjoyed cycling or spinning, however you want to classify it. It hasn't been my thing. But you know me, dude. I like to compete.
Right.
I like to win. Right. And for me to be going up against hundreds of other people,
Right.
even though I'm not doing the live classes, but it still shows where the other
Right.
riders were at, the 27-minute and 34-second mark, wherever you're at. I push myself harder because my goal is typically to finish in the top 10%.
Yep.
Right. Everyone has their own goal, but I feel like I get a better workout in because I know I have to perform. So it is addictive.
No doubt.
Right.
And I actually did a live class this week, and it's even more fun because there's this live people there, so it's exactly like a real spin class, which is cool. And when we talk about picking out stocks, I haven't done a lot of research on their management team specifically, but things like that Beyonce partnership.
Yeah.
Things like they have all kinds of floor workouts, bar workouts, all the different Pilates, all that stuff. They have all kinds of classes now.
Yep.
It's all on my Apple TV. My wife loves it. So they're expanding clearly just beyond their bikes. So that's why I like them kind of long-term play.
I'm going to give you, I had Peloton there as well, but I'm going to give you an alternative. I'm going to give you Nautilus.
Oh.
No one talks about this one because the market cap is only $550 million. So it's below $1 billion. So it's not even on our radar. I own it in my personal account, just as kind of a Peloton alternative. They have similar products, not with the following that Peloton has. But if you missed out on Peloton, I think maybe there's an opportunity in Nautilus where it might be beaten up a little more than Peloton.
Yep. That's a good one.
All right, so last thing we'll talk about is just the Browns overall, right? The perennial loser that's finally looking for a turnaround. I don't want to say the loser that's looking for a turnaround. A stock that's been struggling, that is poised to rapidly improve. Let's go with that. Who do you like here?
Well, why don't you go first in
All right.
case I steal it?
All right. Well, I
Since
doubt
stole
you're
it.
going to steal this because the stock's actually done well, but I'm going to go with TJ Maxx.
Oh.
The stock it didn't get crushed like the other brick and mortar retailers, but the obvious headwind for TJ Maxx has been, it's actually, today it's at a 52-week high, new 52-week high. I think their same store sales were up, 30-40% or something like that. Earnings surprise of like 70%. TJ Maxx is like, in my brick and mortar retailers are dead. I don't think they're ever going to come back. I would not be trying to go bottom fishing in Macy's, Kohl's, and Nordstrom. I think it's a losing battle.
Agreed.
Right? You're playing with fire. But TJ Maxx is unique, dude, and their value prop, whether it's TJ Maxx or Home Goods, like women love going to these stores. My wife loves both of them, right? They want to go and find that diamond in the rough. It's a treasure hunt experience.
Right.
A treasure hunt cannot be done online.
No.
The treasure hunt has to be done in person, right? And they love rifling through racks of clothes to find that $100 shirt that you can get for $20. That's a win. You feel like you won at life, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with TJ Maxx. I'm kind of cheating because the stock's at a 52-week high. It's done well. even throughout the pandemic. But the reason I'm going with them is I think they do have like 240 stores that are still closed.
Yep.
Right? So they've had some significant headwinds working against them, but I think they are going to emerge from this. In an industry where pretty much everything is shifting towards e-commerce, TJ Maxx is going to survive in its brick and mortar state, which I think is impressive.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one a lot. And you're exactly right, and that story has been the same for a while now, and it's a real thing.
Yeah.
So that's a good pick.
Yep.
Real quick, my last one I'll do is I thought a lot about this one, but I'm just going to go with Southwest Airlines.
Ooh, love.
That's probably my favorite play out of the airlines right now, but it was definitely my favorite play out of the airlines before all this Corona stuff started. So all the stuff that we look for, they have. So Southwest Airlines is my recovery stock or beaten up stock.
Banged up stock, almost all domestic, very little international, and almost all leisure travel versus business travel. Business travel is doomed.
Right.
I heard analysts projecting that business travel will recover by like 2024 or 2025. I don't think it ever recovers. I really don't. There will be some recovery, but I don't know that we get back to where we were. I'm cool doing business on Zoom now.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of business owners, CEOs, presidents, I don't care if it's of a 5-person company or a 5,000-person company, I think a lot of people feel the same way.
Absolutely.
So I like that pick. It's a good one. All right, man, we got to wrap up here. We got to talk about the rest of the season for the Browns. This has been a long show. But I'm not going to end it just because it's been a long show, because it's probably my favorite show so far.
No doubt.
I've had fun with this.
Yep.
And I hope everyone who's listening is having fun as well. By the way, give us that 5-star review, subscribe, send you some swag.
Absolutely.
We got these Nike hoodies coming. Did you see them?
Oh,
they're sick, dude. They are sick. It's like the dry fit Nike hoodie.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they're beautiful.
I actually wore my Capitalist Investor
T-shirt.
On my Peloton. I tried to take a picture of myself, but I thought it looked stupid, so I didn't post it.
I took a selfie the other day. I'm ashamed of myself. So embarrassing.
I was going to put it out there, maybe even on LinkedIn, but I was like, I look like an idiot, so I'm just not going to do this.
It's awesome. All right, man. So looking at the rest of the season for the Browns, as of the time we're recording this, we're 6-3. So by the time this is published, we're already going to be wrong. So look, we got the Eagles coming up, then we got the Jaguars. Eagles have a losing record. Jaguars have a losing record. Then we got the Titans. We got a winning record. Then we got the Ravens. They crushed us. They have a winning record.
You wrote all this out, huh?
I wrote it out, buddy.
That's impressive.
I'm going to give you my prediction on the Browns this season. We're at the Giants. They're 3-7. At the Jets, 0-9. And then we got the Steelers, right? And I'm looking at this, and I've got 4 more wins for the Browns. I think a win against the Eagles, a win against the Jags, a win against the Giants, a win against the Jets. I've got the Browns losing against the 3 winning teams, the Titans, the Ravens, and the Steelers. All right, so that takes us to 10-6. I would hope that would get you in the playoffs. You never know. That takes us to 10-6. And basically, D, there were 2 things I was looking at. I was looking at, winning teams versus losing teams, obviously. But the most important thing for me was the quality of the quarterback on the other team.
Right.
Because our secondary sucks. And we lose against good quarterbacks. I'm not going to count the Raiders' loss as necessarily a loss that was because of a good quarterback, because I think Derek Carr he's a decent quarterback. I don't think he's in Ben Roethlisberger or Lamar Jackson's category. Those were the elements that worked against us.
Yep.
Right, 50-mile-per-hour winds. So we get beat by Big Ben because our secondary sucks, Lamar Jackson because our secondary sucks, and Ryan Tannehill. That dude,
who's actually not bad.
20 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. This dude was in the graveyard 2 years ago.
Yeah, I'll tell you what it is. We're kind of devolving into sports talk radio here, but
That's okay. That's our future.
the current coach of that's our future.
Yeah. We have no future in picking stocks. We're just not good at it.
Adam Gase is the most of the reason I think this is happening.
Really?
Yep, because he was the head coach in Miami.
Yep.
Did a horrible job. Now Miami has a good coach, and they're doing really well. And now Tannehill has a good coach and a good system, and he's doing really well.
Yep.
And what are the Jets doing? On their way to the first overall pick.
Yeah, that's a bust of a team. I feel
Yep.
bad for them, but that's been us for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
You know. So I'm going 10-6, dude. What do you got? You like my handicapping?
That's impressive.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
I did some homework.
You know, I think the wild card that you have there is the Steelers the last week of the season, because they may have locked everything up.
Oh, I forgot about that. Ben won't play.
Probably not. I mean, the Ravens are sliding. If we happen to beat the Ravens, which I don't think will happen, then that last week game will not matter at all. So they would have to rest their starters, or at least Big Ben, because you can't
afford for him to get hurt.
He doesn't need any practice at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to go 10-6 as well. But I'm going to say one of those games that we should win, maybe like this week, we're going to lose, but we're going to make that up the last week of the season against the Steelers.
Nice, dude. Love it. All right. Well, I love this show. This
It was a great
fun.
one.
This was fun. I hope everyone listening loved it as well. As always, thanks for joining us. Check out the show notes. Check out the YouTube channel. Give us that 5-star review and shoot us an email at info@swpconnect.com. It's getting cold outside. You guys need a Nike hoodie.
Absolutely.
With the capitalist investor logo swagged all over the swag.
It's sweet. We'll put it on the YouTube page.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you next time.